What's good, Wagering World? It's your boy, 5-Star in Vegas, broadcasting live as always from beautiful Summerlin, Nevada. And here with my co-host, my guy, the sometimes Sacramento Kings fan that I know. What's good, Spreader Stay? How are you today?
Oh man, I'm always a Kings fan. Like I said though, it's like they're in different divisions, right? The Kings are like Division 2, the rest of the NBA is in Division
The
1.
A and the B
So
team. You remember the
yeah,
A and B team? We played like middle
they're
school
like junior
football. You had the A
varsity.
team and the B team.
Yeah, they're like the best G League team we got. So yeah, we'll be getting into that in a little bit. But boy, it's been quite the time in sports, right? We had game 1 last night. At least it was a great game.
Yeah.
One of the best games we've seen in the playoffs so far. And then, I mean, this marathon going on right now. If I'm looking over at the TV, it's because we got another great battle going on between Rafael Nadal and Alexander Zverev. And then we got RUUD coming up, which was my play of the day for yesterday. So,
Yeah.
just a great time to be a sports fan and enjoy all the good stuff that's going on.
Dude, if you guys see my eyes to the corner often, it's because you all know if you follow me on Twitter and if you're a client of mine that I got a big bag on Bev. If he blew my first set bet that I took alone, I didn't give it out. I just took it by myself personally. Plus 190. You can't get a better value than that. He breaks him on the first game. I'm like, oh, he has him. He's just letting his nerves get him, man. When he got broke the first time in the first set, he missed like 2 overhead slams. I'm like, dude, calm down. His game is clearly right now. He's playing, I'm gonna say, a little notch above Nadal. The problem is he can't win the big points. Nadal is so calm and so clutch that he's making. Man, when he saved the tiebreak, that running forehand that he had, he looked like he was 24 again on that. You know what I'm saying? He could just dial it up like that for certain points, man. Birthday just hit. He just turned 36. Well, he's doing out there for the old guys, but I need him to lose today because I have a nice bag on him. But we're going to definitely discuss the Celtics Warriors series. But first, we got to get in our boxing expert, man, the CEO of SCOONTV, Curtis Scoon. We're on this platform every day, Monday through Friday. He's a friend of the show and a friend of ours, man. What's up, Scoon? How you doing today?
Gentlemen, what's going on?
Man,
I was listening in. Who won the game last night?
Oh, the Celtics.
Get out. Get out of here.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, the Celtics won, man. You know who won.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on to boxing.
I guess the team Scoon that everybody's told me on the show for 2 weeks that can't lose at home.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know how it goes. Sometimes it just works out that way. But we brought you on to talk about this KAMBOSOS and HANEY fight, man. Sounds like going to be an exciting fight. It's in Melbourne, Australia. You got HANEY's 27-0, got 15 KOs. They say he's highly technical. And you got KAMBOSOS, man. He's fresh off upsetting Teofimo Lopez, who they said was a great fighter. They said that fight was maybe the fight of the year. KAMBOSOS ended up winning by split decision. Yeah, they saying it was a good fight. It wasn't a good fight, Scoon. You saw it. It wasn't a good fight?
It was a good fight, but I wouldn't call it fight of the year because because Lomachenko didn't start fighting until like the 7th round. So I think he was a little leery of the power that Teo has. Teo's an athletic fighter, and he's quick.
Mm-hmm.
And he hits hard, which is a dangerous combination, as we saw last week with Tank Davis. You know what I mean? So, I wouldn't label it the fight of the year. And Teo gets a lot of praise. You got to understand something about what's going on in boxing right now. So they crowned Lomachenko the superstar, the Matrix, and they're all hyping him up. And he gets a title shot in his 2nd fight. He loses that fight and gets a title shot in his 3rd fight because he's designated to be the star. All things aside, imagine the people who were waiting in line fighting at 126 who didn't get a title shot, and this guy who only had 1 professional fight got a title shot. It was unfair to them. So the deck was kind of rigged in his favor to begin with. The guy he lost to, Orlando Salido, he got knocked out 6 times in his first 15 fights. So when this is who beat him, you understand?
Right.
He lost to that guy because of the guy didn't make weight or whatever, and then he got another title shot against Gary Russell, who's a legitimate fighter, but 126 is not a tough division at all, which is why Gary stays down there and fight once a year. So what I'm getting to is that Lomachenko, the foundation of his validation is all fictitious. It's based on his amateur record, which is why they'll always tell you he fought 400 times. He got 2 gold medals. None of that is a lie. Great for him, but that has nothing to do with professional boxing. Mark Breland, who trained Deontay Wilder, he had won the gold medal in New York. Not the gold medal, the Golden Gloves 5 years in a row. He was a great amateur, but he wasn't shit as a professional. They don't have anything to do with the other. You know what I mean? Like, you did it there. Now you got to do it over here. So anyway, Kambosos beat Tio. When Tio fought Loma, Tio only had 15 fights. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care how talented you are. 15 fights is not enough fights for you to establish who you really are as a fighter, because matchmakers and promoters bring you along at a pace to not jeopardize their ROI in the long run. They increase your difficulty and adversity incrementally. You know what I mean? And at 15 fights, you just haven't seen enough. You haven't learned enough in the ring to actually beat the guy. Lomachenko, by the way, only had 14 fights. So anyway, Kambosos beat Teofimo, who, by the way, did not look like himself when they fought. There was talk of all kinds of other things going on. His marriage fell apart while he was in training camp, and a lot of personal things. He doesn't seem like the sharpest knife in the drawer to begin with. So I don't think he could handle pressure and multitask very well. So Kambosos, I feel, got lucky. Now, what I will say for Kambosos, he has very quick hands. His hands are quick. And to his credit, I think he's a tough kid. I think he's a tough guy.
Yeah, he's tough.
I think he's not gonna. I think he's gonna be there to take the punishment, and I don't believe Haney can give him the punishment it's going to take to break him. Only because Kambosos, he took Teofimo's punches, and Teo's a harder puncher than Haney. He finished the fight with Teofimo, so I expect him to finish the fight with Haney. I do expect Haney now. What I think Haney has on Kambosos is experience. You know, one of the people Kambosos fought was Mickey Bay, who helps train Haney. And Mickey Bay, you know, Kambosos talks about he beat Mickey Bay, but Mickey Bay came off a 3-year layoff, and Kambosos only won a split decision. See, there's a saying, styles make fights, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of these guys, they avoid a lot of the athletic black fighters because of the styles. It becomes problematic for them. They're more tough and want to sit there and trade blows and overpower you and outman you. But when they get in the ring with people who are a little bit more athletic, man, and just do their thing and speed, they have problems. So now that's what Haney has going for him. Haney, I believe, is going to outclass Kambosos. But the problem is it's in Australia. Now, I've been told that the judges aren't from Australia and neither is the ref. What that means, I'm not 100% sure. But my prediction regarding the fight is that I think it's going to go to distance. I think Haney is going to win the fight as far as in the ring, but will he win the fight as far as the judges? I don't know. I'm going to step out there and make the boldest prediction of all. I'm going to call a draw. I think that's what's going to happen.
And a draw pays a big amount on the betting end.
And that's why I said I'm going to make the boldest prediction of all, because I believe that Haney's going to outclass him to the point that they can't give Kambosos the fight. So they're going to make it a draw because they're going to want to do it twice anyway. They got to find a way to do it, and they're not going to let Kambosos lose. No matter how much he get his ass beat. Haney has cat-like reflexes. He's quick, but he doesn't have any pop, and his chin is a little questionable. You know what I mean? And he
Yeah.
gets hit. Jojo Diaz hit him, but I think Jojo Diaz is a better fighter than Kambosos. Kambosos only has, I think, like 20 fights. I don't know who the hell he fought. And call me prejudice or whatever, and I mean prejudice against foreign fighters. They don't face the same level of opposition as fighters who come up in America or let's say Mexico and Latin America. It's just not the same. It's just not the same. So I think Haney has been in there with better opposition. I think Haney has better skills. He has better movement. He has better defensive responsibility. He moves his head off the line. Kambosos does not. Kambosos wants to get in there and outpunch you. And this is great. This is great in a street fight. You know, you get in a street fight, you want to get right to it and land more punches than the other guy and knock him down. But in that ring, man, it's called the sweet science for a reason. And I'm gonna say a draw. That's what I'm going with. A draw.
From a betting perspective, a draw would pay plus 1,500. They also, since we're talking about, you know, Kambosos fighting at home by decision, he's plus 240. So both of those are good investments. And then they got Haney. He's only even money by decision. So they obviously think as you that he'll be able to outclass him, score a lot of points and everything in this fight. I'm hearing that Kambosos' camp didn't really want him to take this fight. They was like, you just won, you know, the title. Don't start out with such a ripe opponent at the beginning for your first defense. Enjoy the title a little bit first and fight some bums. And that it was his decision to fight Haney. What do you think about that?
Well, they wanted to fight Lomachenko, but Lomachenko went to Ukraine. And Lomachenko, even though he lost to T.O. and all that, I think he would have given I think all the top lightweights could beat Kambosos, to be honest with you, including Lomachenko. Lomachenko, he relies more on foot movement. And that gives people problems because foot movement gets you in striking distance. You know what I mean? And Kambosos is just not an athletic fighter. He's just not fluid. He's tough. Yeah. He's fast. You know what I mean? But if I was to grade him on a scale of 8 through F, I would call Kambosos a C+ fighter. You know what I mean? And Devin Haney to me is maybe a B fighter. So and as a matter of fact, Lomachenko I would have as a B- fighter. So I think all of them could beat Kambosos. But again, the decision for Kambosos, if it's not a draw, that's what it's going to be, a decision for Kambosos. But I'm really counting on Devin to outclass Kambosos so bad that they can't give Kambosos the fight. And the next thing would be the draw. That's the basis of what I'm predicting. I just think he's going to lose. I think Devin is going to really touch him up maybe 8 rounds, win like 8 to 9 rounds out of 12. You know what I mean? Kambosos, he's a tough kid. Devin ain't going to stop him. That's for sure. You know, I don't see that happening. I would love to see that happen, but it ain't happening. Okay. You know,
What you got, spread?
Yeah, couple things jumping in here. Some issues I believe that Haney is going to struggle with. Number one, you talked about, you know, the referees and the judges not being from Australia. One thing will be a concern, though, is when the judges hear that crowd noise, right? Because we've seen it before with hometown fighters, right? Or
they
a popular
get influenced.
Because it could be a jab that's parried, but the place goes crazy, right? Even though you're watching and you see that it was blocked, but you know the crowd is getting excited because their man's throwing. So of course the crowd does have the ability to influence the judges, so that's going to help Kambosos. And what do you think about Haney? The switch in the time zones is always a concern because that's a big one, right? It's not like going from California to New York. It's a pretty big time zone difference. And then also he's not going to have his father with him for the first time. Did I read that correctly? And do you believe that that's going to be an issue?
2 things. From my understanding, he's been in Australia 2 weeks already.
Okay.
So he should adjust to the time zone in 2 weeks. You know, but that is a legitimate concern. And I just heard this morning that his father was allowed to enter into Australia.
Oh, they switched that?
in the 11th hour. So his father's on the way there. So that.
Let me guess, he's not vaccinated, Scoon. That's what it is. He's not vaccinated.
Maybe he give Novak some tips.
Look, his father had an arrest record from 1992, a conviction.
Okay.
And a lot of these foreign countries, even Canada, if you have a felony conviction, they don't even want you in their country. You know, I remember. Look, I remember years ago, Japan didn't want Don King to come in, and he was promoting the fight there. I think that was the fight with Tyson and Buster Douglas. You know, they didn't even want Don King in their country, and he was promoting the fight. I mean, he did get in, but it's a lot of stuff that goes on with that. But yeah, Bill Haney, he's on his way to Australia. I think that'll be a great morale booster for his son.
Yeah,
and I think Devin, you know, like he's not the perfect fighter. You know what I mean? He's skilled, but I'm a power guy. If you can't crack, I know it's just a matter of you getting caught. We saw this last week, and Romero could crack, but Tank could crack and box and got speed and a boxing IQ. Yeah. Power is the equalizer in that ring, man. You know what I mean? If you feather fisted, it's just a matter of time before you get caught. And I think Devin is fortunate that Kambosos is not a power puncher either. So that's where I think he has the chance.
Anything else from Spread?
Yeah. How do you rile up boxing Twitter so effectively? You got him going yesterday.
Yeah. I called him out, right? And to be honest with you, I do it on purpose. As you guys know, I'm working on a boxing documentary, and I'm using the Floyd Mayweather technique. Their hatred is going to get me paid. You see, because they all gonna want to talk about my film and bash it and everything, and you know. Enough jeers might as well be cheers. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going to take
Barnum, baby. PT Barnum. As long as they're talking, it doesn't matter.
You know what I mean? I do believe the things that I say. However, what I've realized is that this has always been the case in boxing. It's just that I was always focusing on the fighters and not the business part of it. But as I've matured and become a man and a businessman, I look at everything from a business perspective, and that's what opened my eyes to the things that I criticize. I know it's coming from they're fighting for the money, man. They're fighting for the money. They'll establish a hero. Take for example Bivol. Bivol just beat Canelo. That's his first notable win. He's in the pound for pound top 10. Provided by Ring magazine, and the writer from Ring, the guy who runs it or whatever, Michael Montero, is who gets everybody to come at me because he screenshots all my boxing takes, and then he feeds it to his little mean girl squad, and then of course I just have fun with them because they keep talking about me. They don't even realize that they're drawing attention to me, and my arguments are so logical that even people that was buying their garbage might stop and think like, wait a minute, he got a point there. You know, like a lot of people don't realize that Orlando Salido got knocked out 6 times in his first 15 fights. And he beat Lomachenko. And yet they'll tell you that Lomachenko faced better opposition than Tank and this, that, and the third. They just all over the place. They have a narrative. And what I believe is happening in boxing is that they're trying to shift everything to the European market. So at any time a European fighter does well, they're going to really, really over promote it. Like look at what Jamel Charlo just did. He's undisputed at junior welterweight. He beat Castano in a great fight. They're not talking about that. Why? Nope. He's black. He's with PBC. Al Heyman is black. They're American. That's not the direction they're trying to go. Period.
That's a lot like the NBA too, Scoon. You know that, right?
It's like with everything, man. And I'm going to call it out because most of the fans, I don't believe the fans are racist. I think it's the tastemakers using race to steer the fans. Just like I told you guys a little while ago, I never understood what was going on in boxing until I became a businessman. And in hindsight, I see that the things that I'm talking about now have always existed. Have always existed. It's a club, man, like George Carlin said. And we ain't in it.
And
You
we ain't in
understand?
it.
And we're good. Look at this. They criticized Tank. They criticized Haney. Lomachenko dropped his belt to avoid fighting his mandatory, who was Haney. And then the WBC gave him the franchise belt, which you have to ask for. He and Canelo are the only two with a franchise belt. Think about that.
Yeah.
And so then Haney, he puts the pressure. They give him the belt because Lomachenko wouldn't fight him. Or he fought somebody for, I can't recall. They're disrespecting the man and saying he's an email champ. They talk all of this. He hasn't fought anybody, blah, blah, blah. But yet they want to sign him for a 3-fight contract. If he's such trash, why do you want to sign him? Just yesterday, Eddie Hearn put it out there that he's willing to guarantee Tank Davis $20 million a fight. If he's such trash, no, you motherfuckers are jealous. You ain't shit. You got a subpar product, and you're just envious that these people are better than you, not just at fighting, but at promoting. And it hurts them to the core. And you know what? I'm going to rub it in their fucking nose every chance I get. Because at the end of the day, it really should just be about fighting. Look, I thought Wilder would beat Fury only because I watched the first fight. Most people don't know that Fury only landed 13 punches more than Wilder. But Wilder dropped him twice, including the last round. There's no way that was supposed to be a draw. There was no way. But they couldn't give it to Fury. You understand what I'm saying? So based on the injustice that was done to Wilder, not that because he was black, because I've never watched Wilder. I think the heavyweights has been bullshit since Lennox Lewis left, to be quite honest with you. But based on the injustice, and I know where it was coming from, I let my emotions get involved. And I was like, Wilder's going to beat him because that's what I wanted to happen. But you know what? After the fight, you know what I said? Fury's the best thing out there at heavyweight. I don't think anybody can beat him at heavyweight because I'm a fight fan, man. I don't play this bullshit. If you show me what you could do in the ring, I'm going to give you your credit. I'm not going to undermine you and lie about you or none of that shit. And this is the game they play. The Ring magazine is owned by Oscar De La Hoya. Golden Boy bought it. There's no way a promoter should own a company that's influencing the public's perception of fighters because there's going to be bias against his competition. And it just doesn't make sense. So, yeah, I'm exposing these things and I'm putting it out there. And I think I'm doing good. In order for the sport to survive, it doesn't need a European market. It just needs for us to have the best fighters, whether they be from Europe, Mexico, the Caribbean, Russia. It doesn't matter. If they bang and let them go, man. Let them earn that credit in the ring and not with hack journalists like Michael Montero and the others that's over at Ring Magazine.
Yeah, what they're doing is they're doing a lot of that similarly in the NBA. And it's like you said, it isn't based on the regular people or the fans. It's based on the corporate steering fans. And they do it with the same thing in the NBA with Jokic and with Luka. You know, they
do it with
they're great players,
bro.
don't get me wrong, but you can see that the way that they overmarket and oversaturate, and it's because I'm sure it's a fan base that they're trying to draw that money to,
Of course, it's economically motivated. I'm not mad at that, man. But don't discredit good fighters, especially because they're not the racial demographic that you want, especially when black fighters have been carrying boxing for the last 100 years, man. This is no way to say thank you. I saw a tweet that Oscar De La Hoya had said to Spence a while ago, and he was telling him, he wanted to set up a fight with him and somebody else. I think it was Virgil Ortiz or something like that. And Spence responded to him. He said, you don't treat black fighters well, brother. Hey, the thing is, right? See, I say it for the people who can't. This is what happens with us as black men. We know that shit is rigged against us, but because we're so locked into the system, if we talk about it, we're going to lose the little bit of action that we got.
Right.
So who don't give a fuck is me.
Right.
I'm going to say it for the people who can't say it. You understand? Right. And I'm not obsessed with race or anything. I know what it is. I was born into this world. This right here is the hand I was dealt, and I wouldn't trade it for nothing. Trust me, man. If I had a chance to be anybody but me, I'd be like, nah, I'm good, man. With whatever adversity and everything, I love who I am. But you're not going to tell me that I am not qualified or I'm not great when I'm outperforming you every day. You can't do that.
You remember we met at the Win for the first time. The first thing I told you, I say, brother, you say everything that I want to say.
Yeah, yo, bro. I do that for the people who can't talk. You know, like, I'm not the guy that's out here flying the flag that, oh, racism, this, that. I'll be like, man the fuck up, man. Man the fuck up. You know, I'm gonna share this, right? And this stuck with me. So my man in Detroit on the ground, his name is Dutch, right? Black brother. And he went to Columbia University, Ivy League school, and he told me something. And it summed up everything. He said one day his professor told the class, look around you. This is possibly the last time you'll be in a room with so many smart people, right? And that is what's really going on. And this isn't a racial thing. This is across the board. There's a lot of people who are reaching for things that's beyond their capabilities. And when it doesn't work out for them, they got all kinds of excuses. It's going to be systemic racism. It's going to be illegal immigrants. Look, man, if you was really that dude that you said you are, you would find a way to win. But it's hard to come to that moment where you be like, maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was. You know what I mean? All I want in life, spread, DRAE, is what I deserve. And what I deserve is based on my natural talents and the effort I put out. If I'm not a $1 billion guy, I don't feel like I'm just not the $1 billion guy. It's okay. If I'm not the millionaire, it's okay, man. Yeah. Just be the best who you are. And my thing about the whole race game, not just in sports, but in life is, for far too many of us, we're just not honest with ourselves about why we don't have the outcomes. And yes, those things, those arguments we use, they're legitimate for some people, but maybe not for you. Maybe your problem is more personal.
Right. Man, we appreciate your wealth of knowledge that you always bring, Scoon. It's just always great to have you in here, man. Whether we're talking about boxing or we're talking about life, man, we really, really enjoy you stopping by. And we're going to continue to grow with you on your network, man. And, you know, we'll talk to you soon, man.
Look, man, I like doing it with you guys, man. I hit you this week and said, yo, we're going to do it Friday. Yo, you didn't hit me. I hit you. Look,
hey, you welcome here every Friday if you want. Just let me know when you want to do it. And
if I got something to talk about, I'm going to let you know, man. And we're going to do it. All right?
All right. I appreciate you, brother. You have a great evening.
Thank you for having me on.
Good seeing you, Curtis.
All right.
My boy Curtis Scoon, man.
He got me fired up, man. That's a great message.
One and only, man.
Great
That's the
message,
one thing
right?
about this show, man. We give you winners, but we give you substance. We brought so many guests on here that have talked about things that's much broader than just sports, man. And we want to continue to do that as the show grows on Scoon Network, man. Let's get to yesterday's news real quick now, man. We've talked a little boxing. Now I know everybody tuned in to see what we were going to say about the game last night. I'm not going to say I told you so, but I told you so.
Might as well. I'll give you your props right now. You got it. Because here's what I did, right? You know, and obviously, you know, when you get a pick wrong, you take a little more time self-reflecting than just cashing the ticket, right? Draymond Green, Jaylen Brown. Completely missed on that one, right? Not that I didn't expect Jaylen Brown to play well, but Draymond Green didn't match. He didn't match. He wasn't able to finish around the rim. And I heard a lot about that, and I dismissed it.
So many open
thought
threes they're giving him. Draymond can't make any of them.
But that wasn't the issue. I don't care about him missing those threes. He couldn't finish around the rim.
Nope.
And that was the issue that I had from at one point. He was 1 from 6, and I think most of those were in the paint. And he's got to go and he's got to get fouls. Now we know the NBA. We know it's a little janky. I don't think it's going to go on to be 2-0. They're probably gonna be a little more liberal with the whistle of him and Steph in the paint.
Yeah.
Because there was some plays, right, where they got hit, and I'm not blaming the officiating. The Boston Celtics won the game. But I'm just saying there's ways they can make sure that doesn't happen again, and we'll see.
He's going to be in foul trouble every game if they don't help him. And that's what I was telling you in Ski. People, after LeBron and Ty Lue showed in the Cleveland series how you hurt Steph Curry and how you keep him at bay is by keeping him on the bench.
But I think Steph was the issue in that game.
I
thought the issue was the supporting
but his foul trouble got him out of rhythm. He was on fire in the first quarter. Then he had to sit for a while because he got 4 fouls so quick.
And
he really supposed to have 6 fouls. He should have been fouled out the game. Because he can't do anything on the switches when they go pin him down. You know,
I personally didn't think he did that bad, even when he was getting switched on. I thought there was times that, number one, they would switch and he would be in the post and they wouldn't feed Tatum. I didn't think Steph was the issue at all. I thought the issue was Clay didn't shoot well. Draymond didn't shoot well inside, right? And then they gave up 40 points in the fourth quarter.
That was defense.
Yeah, but I didn't think that was Steph. I mean, nobody knew their assignment.
Nobody knew their assignment. You saw when Marcus Smart went and talked to the team about what they were doing wrong. He sounded like a coach himself. When they had the mic on him and he was talking about exactly what they were doing wrong while Steph was getting those free shots. He didn't get those shots anymore. He didn't get them anymore. He didn't get them anymore after that. It was just the first quarter because they were filling out. Remember, I told you that's how the Celtics like to play from when I've been watching their coaching staff. He likes to fill you out. If you notice, they close strong in the fourth quarter. If they're within 10 points, they've been doing that all season, even in the regular season. If they're within 10 points, you're in trouble in the fourth quarter because some reason they can turn that defense up so strong in the fourth quarter, man, and they get so many easy baskets off of the defense in the fourth quarter. And they could just hit another level, man. And I think you saw what I was speaking about the athletic advantage that they have on the Warriors. It's clear, man. If you look through the roster, they have a clear athletic advantage. On Robert Williams, they don't have an answer for the type of guy he is at all because he's too athletic. He's not giving up.
But you know what's funny is they actually won the minutes while Williams was in there. The lineup that won didn't have Williams on the floor.
Well, I'm just saying, for instance, he makes it. If the Warriors aren't shooting like Steph was shooting in the first quarter throughout the whole game, they have no chance. And you saw that because what are they going to get to the rim? Who can they attack to the rim to get a foul call? Buck Wiggins. He's the only one.
Do you think Boston's going to shoot that good again game 2?
Who's that?
They haven't put together consistent performances all season.
Who's that? The whole team, Boston.
I mean, what did Derek White miss? I mean, did Al Horford?
Derek White's been pretty good the last 4 games.
I know. I'm just saying, like
I've been talking about him.
I'm just saying, it's not like the series is over. We're not going to just give the ring to the Celtics because the Warriors.
No, of course not. No. But I feel great that because I didn't bet last night, but the first half, and then I ended up betting in game when they went down 12 during the game. But
yeah, I saw your text after the game. I wasn't on my phone during the game.
Yeah, I took the because I was trying to tell you to go take them. That's why I texted you.
Yeah, like, I saw it afterwards, but I try and put it down
because
I was
trying to tell you.
I get influenced by what I read on Twitter and stuff. I want to watch it myself and then read afterwards. You know.
No, I was trying to send you a bit and then jump in now and grab the Celtics because I could see how they were already influencing the game interiorly. Man, you got to be able to get easy baskets, man. If you can't be able to they can get drives and get a couple layups, get a couple easy fouls. The Warriors are coming into near the basket and they don't have anyone that can challenge at the rim. There's all these floating layups and shit that they're going to throw to the moon. You know that, man. That's the problem. They have to shoot lights out jumpers.
Well, let's see what Boston does because they've had problems. They've had problems dealing with success, right? After game 5, we said all the
they're supposed to lose game 2. They're supposed to, but we'll see if they come to play. If they come to play, they may not.
If they don't, it's over. If they don't, it's over, right?
So they might put the hammer down is because the Warriors was in complete control of this first game. Just like this Beverage match we just saw. Beverage, unfortunately, just got injured really bad.
Yeah, I saw that while we were talking to Curtis.
Yeah, they had to wheel him off in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
You saw how he blew that first set? That's kind of what the same thing the Warriors did. They had complete control of the game, man. They were dancing and acting all funny, the whole crowd doing their shimmies and stuff in the third quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, they were looking like, what the hell happened? So this was their game to win. If Boston comes back refocused next game, they may dominate from tip to tip because they have an advantage on them, man. They don't have no answer for Tatum or Brown, and it's just which one is going that day. Last night it was Brown. So Tatum, you can bet it now over 28.5 game 2 because his brand is not going to allow him to go under 30 points next game. He's going crazy next game. You know that, right? So the Warriors,
he did a great job though. That's where this box score stuff and these points don't matter. Because he facilitated the whole offense.
Great job.
Anyone tried to tell me, oh, he had a bad game. No, he didn't.
Nah. He just had a bad game scoring, but he knows
he won the game for the team. He had 13 assists, and he a lot of those open Derek Whites and Horfords were because of the gravity that Tatum had.
Exactly. And now we both know that, but he didn't get that Ruffles chip of his own by assist. He got to go put the ball in the basket. So next game he got to get 30 points for his brand. Because
if you look though, it wasn't like he missed a lot of good looks. I thought the Warriors defended him well. I think the thing was they just sold out to beat him, and the other guys did it. So I don't know. I'll be interested to see if they
man. He had a lot of good 3 looks from his spot. Right, he liked to shoot from the top and from
the threes. I'm talking about his 2s.
Well,
I thought they did a good job on him. It wasn't like he was missing bunnies. It wasn't like he was missing wide open layups, right? He had a hand in his face every time.
He had people on him, but like I told you, I like Jalen going.
I don't know if they. Yeah, he is better.
He's better going to the rim than him. He's not.
Jason is kind of strategy though, or do they just keep it with it? Like, what would you do if you're Steve Kerr? Do you say, okay, we stopped Tatum and we still lost? Do we go back? Do we keep that same strategy? Let the other guys beat us?
They need more from Clay for one. Clay is going to have to get him at least 25. Draymond needs to stay in the gym all night because as you see how the Celtics are playing it, at the end of the game, Draymond is going to be the man left open from whether it's from the corner or from the top of the key. He has to make it. Simple as that. He has to make. We remember when they were dominant, he was making that shot. He was making it enough where that they were winning. He has to make that shot. If they don't have to play him and could just crowd the paint on the rebound and double on the switches when they're coming off those picks. All they're doing is doubling on the wing. Where if Clay comes off on this side, we got that one covered. If Curry comes off on this side, we got that one covered. So Draymond's just pretty much at the top of the key by himself. It's up to him right there to make that basket. That's the main thing I saw from the game. He has to score. He's trying to make it sound like in the press conference like it wasn't a big deal, and Derek White's not going to do this. And Derek White's been pretty consistent in the playoffs shooting the ball. He's been playing really good. I think he's almost. Hey, you remember when Van Fleet had the baby in the playoffs and couldn't miss?
Yeah.
Derek White might be on the same path.
Yeah, I should have just left my phone off after the game. Unbelievable.
Well, people would get. Oh, that's right. You do a show with a bunch of Boston fans, right?
Yeah, when I put my opinion out there, right, and I was pretty confident in it, right, and they deserve the right to say I told you so, but it's not fun.
Right.
It's not fun to have to just relive the loss over and over.
Well, I'm already up on the series because I took the Celtics plus 130. That was my biggest bet for the series.
You jumping back in to just get the sure money, or are you going to let it ride?
No, I'm
grab the Warriors right now plus 150.
I think the Warriors. What are the Warriors right now? 200
plus 150. I think. Let me double check. I think the Celtics were minus 165. Warriors are plus Celtics minus 178. Warriors plus 159.
159. I think
I might get the guaranteed profit.
I might get a better profit if I wait till they win, and if they have to win in Boston. No, they have to go up 2-1. 2-1. I'll probably get a plus 200 on the Warriors, and that's what I need. That's what I'm waiting on. I'm trying to get the Warriors 2-1. And then that way I'll make a bigger.
That seems pretty likely to me. But then again, I thought the Warriors were going to win last night. So, take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, it's all
felt like they were in the third quarter, too. It played out exactly like the script I thought. Because we all said that they don't take the Warriors first half. I was with you there. Yeah. I said, we get that Warriors third quarter. Got a nice little bet there, but not enough to cover how much.
That's the only one they won. They won the third quarter. That's the only quarter that they did.
Well, they won the first quarter, too.
First and the third quarter. They lost the second.
And we talked about it, and it was a little more on my other show, but the Celtics bench was better. And that's why they lost. In those minutes in the fourth quarter when Steph's on the floor, minutes in the second quarter when Steph's on the floor, the team can't get it done. So Poole's good, but he's not there yet, And so, pretty disappointing day in Northern California. I haven't jumped in the car yet. But boy, as bad as I'm melting down, I'll bet you these callers are going to be even worse. So I'll have to hear a little bit of that when I head outside a little later today.
Yeah, it's all good, man. It's a long series. I think in game one we saw all the things that I was pretty aware of, and that was that the Celtics were gonna give the Warriors a lot of problems, and that they matched up well, and that they definitely had an advantage on the interior. All right, let's get to the ball and parlay so we can get off here and watch this CELTIC RUUD match that we got going pending for yesterday's ball and parlay. We're still riding. What you got tonight?
I'm going with another tennis favorite. Give me Iga. Best bet in sports right now. And I think you might be on the opposite side here, so you can go ahead and let you hear it. But I didn't have much to choose from, to be honest, right? I guess I could give out the Warriors for this weekend, but I don't know, man. That shook my confidence yesterday. But I do have confidence in Swiatek, right? She's covered every single match so far at the French Open. I could go back to Rome. I'm pretty sure she covered all her matches there, right? So not only has she won like 34 in a row, she's covered like 10 or 11 matches in a row. And I think this is just a bad matchup here for Coco. I was writing about it earlier before we came on, and a summary of what I wrote was Iga's really not going to be troubled with defensive players. The type of players who are going to trouble her are players that can match or exceed her power and not allow her to completely dictate and construct the points correctly. And as good as Coco Gauff is, and she's got a great backhand, right? But I think Iga's really going to be able to eat her apart on the forehand-to-forehand rallies. And the best part about it is because Coco is not a natural power player. She's a natural defensive player. We've given her credit, right? We said, she's up there now. We said she might have even surpassed Simona Halep, right? But her court coverage is exceptional, but that's not going to bother a player like Swiatek, who also has excellent consistency and plays the defensive style so well. So the ability to construct points and just to go into offense when it's needed and not, be forced or be pressured to try and win the points early, I think is just going to play too well for Swiatek. So I like Swiatek, but I'm curious to see if you're on the other side here. What do you think about our girl Coco Gauff?
I'm riding with Coco, man. I think Coco is going to lift her. She's shown in the past an ability to lift her levels. This is her first championship match. I don't think she lost the finals when she was in juniors. I just think that she's going to surprise some people. I don't know if she wins, but I think that she plays a lot closer, maybe even a 3-setter with Swiatek, which means you still can win, because if Swiatek smokes her like 6-1 or something in the third, still can go that way. But I really think Coco can at least take a set off of her. What I've seen from her this week has been very, very impressive. If she can keep her levels up the way that she played against Sloan and the way that she played against Trevisan, I think that she can compete with Swiatek. Swiatek hasn't really faced any pushback this week. She had a pretty easy.
I'd argue that Coco didn't really either. I know you're higher on Sloan than I am, but Trevisan, come on, and we knew that was a mistake a couple games in. And then the last point I made, Coco raises her game. Iga does as well. Iga's 15-1 in finals in her career and has never lost a set in her 8 WTA victories.
That is true. That is true.
In the finals. So
she's trying to get her title back. She won the French Open 2 years ago.
2020. That's right. And Crash took it last year.
Yeah, she was upset last year, and the girl that upset her went right back to, just like all these girls,
playing cricket,
right back to being mediocre. She lost in the first round.
No, she lost to Barty, did she? Last year?
She lost in the first round. Krejcikova?
Oh, I'm talking about Swiatek lost to Barty last season.
Oh, no, I'm talking about Krejcikova winning the
title.
That
was her first match in like 3 months, though.
Yeah, but still, I hate when these girls do that. They win their first major, and just all of a sudden, the first time they've been a pretty girl at the ball, and they just lose all of it. They just mail it in after that. But hey, like I said, the spread is, he's a tennis guy. I'm a tennis guy too. We see the world a little bit different on a couple of these matches, but he thinks Swiatek goes with the spread and covers against young Coco Gauff. And that's going to be a great Paris final. I can't wait to watch that match. I'd love for Coco to push back. We might get us a rivalry going. We need one. Maybe the ghost of Venus will come in her and she'll try to defend Venus's name. You know, Swiatek's going to tie the record, right, for the most wins in a row in this one. So it's going to be just like we talked about, exactly what the French Open wants. All right, and I'm going with the Houston Gamblers. First half, guys, do not bet the whole game on Kevin Summerlin. But the first half, he's good money. They won every first half this USFL season. I don't see it ending this week. Give them +3 against a weak Tampa Bay Bandits team. Jordan Ta'amu is a horrible quarterback, very inconsistent. He can run a little bit, but his passing is very suspect. The Gamblers have Thorson at quarterback, been pretty good. A couple weapons on the outside, some speedy backs. They used to come out with a great game plan. It's just after halftime they've been terrible. But so we're going to stay in the USFL with the Houston Gamblers. First half +3 and hope that they keep their streak going of 0 losses on the first half. We appreciate you guys for tuning in this week. It's been the 19th of 20th week winning. We only had that one blemish, so we'll be at 20, but it's okay. We're going to keep pushing forward. We got a great time in sports. We got these tournaments going in tennis. Soon, Wimbledon will be up next around the 4th of July. And we got the finals, and it's getting interesting because just like I predicted, it's not going like people expected early with the world favorite Warriors losing at home. So everybody be very tuned in this weekend to see what's the next chapter in this 75th edition of the NBA Finals. Thank you again to Curtis SCOON for coming on. Anything for the people spread before we get out of for the week?
No, just excited for another exciting week in sports. We got a great French Open action. We got a fun boxing match tomorrow night. And then, we'll have some NBA Finals to talk about when we're back on Monday.
Yep, and some USFL. You know, I'll be texting you the USFL plays.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll watch it, though, but I'll check the score.
Yeah, you need to get out the house,
on my
man.
CBS Sports app.
You need to get out the house, man. Get out the house.
I'm going to. If I didn't have that other show, I'd be leaving the second I hit end broadcast, but I got to wait 2 hours.
Get out the house this weekend.
Go touch some grass. Yeah,
touch some grass, man. Yeah. All right, we appreciate you guys for tuning into the Wagering World, man. You can follow my guy Spread at Spread ASTAIRE, and also subscribe to his YouTube channel, please. It's at Spread ASTAIRE as well. And mine is going to be at 5-Star in Vegas. Spell out the 5 on Twitter. 5-Star in Vegas Sports Investments on YouTube. Subscribe to SCOONTV. We'll see you guys next week. Best of luck to y'all.